for an hour.
When we do most of the interventions. Make sure.
And we're gone.
Order a new screen after this.
Ask Mike nicely.
I told him.
I mean, how was I supposed to
Am
know?
I the only person on Zoom?
Rachel, you are not. I am
Okay.
as well. Hi there.
We're going on a field trip.
Sorry, Karen.
Good to see you there, though.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Feels like deja vu. We'll be here. And I have the remote people. Thank you again. Oh, thank you. It's hard to hear sometimes. The big thing will be to remember. I have to move the mouse. Here, let me see if I can.
You can maybe set it there. Say, because they won't hear you.
That's the main thing, is sound.
Okay, so, for those of you who were at the sneak peek, I'm sorry if this is a little repetitive, but I'm gonna try to give a summary of the exhibit and how it's structured and the competition. So this exhibit is an annual competition that is run by the Natural History Museum in London. They've been going for 60 years on this. This is the 60th iteration of the exhibit, and they started in 1964. So what we're seeing is 2004's competition, and it takes a little bit, to get all the entries together and pick the winners and have the exhibit there and then send it around the world. So there were 60,000, just about 60,000 entries for this exhibit. And then the judges narrowed it down to 100. So it was a lot of work. And we had at the sneak peek, one of the photographers with us, Larry Taylor, whose photo is there, the ermine between the rocks. So we'll talk about that one in a little bit. But talking to him at some of the opening events helped me get a better sense of how the competition is structured. So he said you apply, I think in January, for like the next year's exhibit. It's a very long lead time. And it's kind of like when you're waiting for your college acceptance letter. They tell you what day they're sending them, but you have to kind of wait to see, you open the email and then it pops up whether you got in or not. And when you submit your photos, it doesn't sound like there's a limit on how many photos you can exhibit. We have there may be, but we have some categories where there are multiple works by the same photographer. In the same exhibit, in the same group. And when you apply, you do apply your particular photo to a particular category. So it's not that they got all these entries and then sorted them into the categories. The categories were preset and then you pick your category based on what the work is. And I'm sure there is some element of choosing selectively which category you might fit best in. Animal portraits and animals in their environment could be quite similar. And I'm not sure if there is a prescription to submitting the same photo to multiple categories.
It's like the county fair.
Yeah.
You have to know where.
Yeah.
And
How many categories are there?
We have 18 categories. I can give you a little summary of those. We have 4 categories of animal behavior. Those are all in the King Gallery: mammals, birds, invertebrates, amphibians, and reptiles. So that's about how the animals are in their environment, which again, kind of similar to the category of animals in their environment. Also in the King Gallery, excuse me, we have 3 groups of young photographers. They split the young photographers by age, so we have 10 and under, 11 to 14, and 15 to 17. Here we grouped those together, so you'll just see the one sign for young photographers, but they are grouped on the wall. So you should be able to read the label and tell, am I in the 10 to 14 or am I in the older group? In this room, we have back page. Animals in their environment there. The animal portraits, urban wildlife, and then these photojournalist story awards. We have a winner, which I think is this one, and then a honorable mention, a highly commended, and then a rising star award. So the way you'll see these laid out is each group is preceded by its title and tapped by the map. So we're trying to kind of group those together. And then the light box is the winner for that category. You can also tell because the winners, like for these two, the winners' labels are printed in green, and then the other entries are in white. So the light boxes are a really fun element to this exhibit. It's just a transparency over kind of like those light bright toys where you used to plug the lights in. And so it really shines the light through the image. And they had a version of this show where you could have all the images in light boxes. I will tell you, finding the plugs in here to manage the ones we did get was quite a challenge. So it would have been so amazing to have all the light boxes, but I think this also really highlights the winner of the category in a nice way as well. Yeah, Charlie.
How much discretion do you have in setting it up and how much do they dictate the museum?
That's a great question. They did give us some toolkits of how to hang it, and you'll notice this show is hung a little differently than we usually hang shows. We don't usually, this wall is an exception, we don't usually put the label below the piece. That was their instruction to us to do it that way. They're also all hung, their baselines line up, and we usually center images. And so it'll be interesting if you have any thoughts about how this is different, or if you like it or don't like it, or if your guests, your visitors on your tours have strong feelings about this. That'd be really interesting to know. I'm not a creature of change, and so it looks beautiful. I think it's really great. And it would have been hard to fit everything in. There are 100 images in this show. There are 102 pieces on the walls because the overall winners of the competition are featured twice. So you'll see them in their category, and then you'll also see them, these 2 extremely large light boxes on the wall here. Those are the winners, overall winners. And so the one on the right is the grand prize winner, biologist from Canada. And then the one on the left is the youth winner. He's a 17-year-old from Germany. Yeah. So
So they basically told you how to set it up.
yes, but we sent them floor plans of our exhibit space, and we gave them a proposal of how we would group the works. So they didn't tell us, oh, you have to have animal portraits first, or you have to, they don't have to be, the categories don't have to be in a particular order. So we grouped them in a way that made sense to us and that fit well on our walls. Some of the categories have 3 or 4 images, some of them have 7. So we were really trying to figure out what makes sense together, category wise, but also what will fit on each wall so that it makes sense that this group is together and this group is together. Any other questions?
So these light boxes,
So do you have to take a transparency of the photograph in order to get the light to shine through it? I mean, how do you get the light to shine? The light won't shine through a regular photograph. Yeah.
They printed them on like a plastic material. And when they came to us, they were already installed in this box.
In a box.
So, it was a really great crate. I know everyone will be as excited about this as me. But it was kind of like a roadie crate for, a band that like clipped, the front clips off, and there are slots for each of the light boxes. So you slide them in, they kind of look like TVs, even now, but into these, special made slots that will keep them from moving around in transit and keep them from getting scratched or bumped. So
What do the light boxes designate again?
they're the winners of each category. So, I can tell you a little bit about Larry's piece. From what he told us, he took this in Yellowstone, so it's a local image, very exciting for us. It's titled Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Larry's a biology teacher at Helena College. Thank you, Jane. At Helena College in Montana. And he spends a lot of time in the park. Pretty much all summer, he said, and a lot of weekends in the winter as well. So he was watching this little ermine run up these rocks, this crevice between two rocks, chasing after a rat. And he said that ermines, like unlike other types of weasels or this family of animal, don't store a lot of fat, so they don't hibernate in the winter. They have to stay awake and they have to hunt. And he said at the top, it was about 30 feet tall, this crevice, and at the top, the rocks diverged. So this little ermine was scrambling up this 30-foot crevice, and then he'd get to the top and he'd have to do kind of one of those leap jumps to try to catch the rat, and he just fell time after time after time. But he just got up again and went after that little rat. So, and Larry said, by the time he took this picture, there was like a crowd of people watching. Cheering for him. He did not get the rat. Everyone is so disappointed except the rat. Yeah. So he said he took a lot of pictures, but there was this one moment where the ermine looked right at him. And he snapped it, and he knew if he got it, that was going to be it. Like, that was going to be such an amazing image. And he said he was almost afraid to check his camera because he didn't want to have missed it. But he did get it. This was his first year entering the competition, and he was selected. And so he was very honored by that. And he said, for a lot of photographers, this particular competition is a lifetime achievement goal. So for him to enter on his first year and get accepted is really exciting. He already found out, unfortunately, this year's show that he didn't make the cut this year, but he's getting ready to submit his next, or he's already submitted the next one, something like that. So he's committed. Yeah.
Do other natural history museums do something like this?
Yes.
Well, you've got like the Susan Winland Rice one that goes around. That's a big wildlife one. It's usually shown in natural history museums. I know it always shows in DC every spring.
Where's the Susan Rice?
Susan Winland Rice is a memorial.
Oh, okay.
We had it here one year, years ago. Yeah, we did. Because Henry Holsworth had mentored one of the junior winners, and he's a local photographer. So, yeah.
So I was gonna add that he also, maybe you said this and I missed it, but he also said that it was the first time he'd ever seen an earth. Ever, and he got a good picture of it. And then it was a wood rat nest up high. Oh, which was why, but you might have been wondering, why did the wood rat not run away? It was an empty nest up high.
Is the wood rat a big rat?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Because
sure.
that's not a very big little.
No. Jane, do you know
What's the question?
if wood rats are quite, because he looks
I know,
really.
we were just talking about that, probably about the same size as the ermine.
Oh, wow.
But they're pretty savage, Ermin.
Oh, my God.
How's your mom? And something I didn't know is that the ermine is a very vicious little creature.
He's little.
Lord, and Lord.
I mean, and they don't have to eat all the time. They must attack things like squirrels and stuff like that.
Do the math.
Jane, are you implying your business?
Lori.
So if you come and go in the winter out that South Security Board, you may have seen our resident. I don't know if it's the same one we see every year or a descendant of the one we've seen, but it's, you know, we don't see it in the summer, we only see it in the winter with its white coat. Because they do change from brown to green. Season.
Helps keep our population of unaffairs down.
Anything else?
Jane, do you wanna talk about the education?
I would love to. We're gonna move into the next gallery. So this is, as you may have noticed already, these two temporary galleries are filled with this exhibit as well as the King Gallery. So it's 3 whole exhibit spaces. It's a big exhibit. But if you come over into this room, you'll see that there are a few interactive things for people to see. There are 2 different selfie stations where people can stand in front of it and take a selfie. You need to ask Sage to see the selfie of her jumping in front of this. It's really cute.
I nailed it.
She's going.
It's on my phone. I'll show you.
And there's another one on the back of this temporary wall. If we come down here.
Jane, you're too fast. I can't go that fast.
Manatee selfie, so people
No,
can take their
but-
picture with the manatees. And then if you come back in this little area here, this is where the education team was asked to come up with a few hands-on activities for kids, or really anybody can enjoy it. The 2 activities are the photo blind. So this little tent-like structure here is what photographers use when they're, well, you know, hunters use it too for dove hunting, but photographers use it when they're trying to get a photo of something that is maybe elusive and would be shied away from a person. So if you come around this side, Patrice has put a sign here, enter here. And you can go inside and you can see where the big camera scope would typically come out. We don't have a big fancy camera with a scope, telephoto lens. Instead, we put a mailing tube. But kids have been going in there and even taking pictures through that view.
I had
get a
2
feel
adults
for
last
it.
night.
You had 2 adults go in
Yeah,
there?
we had an event last night and 2 adults got in and I had to give them a hand to get out, but they were really excited to be in there.
And then over on this table here, oh, you can see a label, interpretive label telling about photo blinds and inviting people to climb inside. And then on this side, you see an interpretive label about photographic composition. And it talks about how photographers arrange their image. So it's a very deliberate, I'm going to take it from this viewpoint. I'm going to include these things. I'm maybe going to come back here on a different day to get different weather or different animals in this location. So this little diorama box is designed to get people playing with that idea of creating your own composition. So they can choose any number of backdrops and they can slide that into the back of the box. Next step is to choose a color for the ground. And you can see there are 3 different colors for the ground of the box you can slide in. And then you can decide, you know, do you want to put trees in? Is it going to be summer? Is it going to be winter? Are you going to put bushes in? Are you going to put, you know, which little animals are you going to put in? And people have been doing it.
Yeah.
And then we invite them to share it to a shared album via the QR code up there, or you can also see it here, or they can tag it. And there's information about, you know, how to tag the museum. Wildlife Art JH is on Instagram, is our Instagram account. So Yeah, so people have been doing this a little bit later in the summer. I'm gonna put out another box that will be an interior scene. And it's gonna be like a little dollhouse kitchen with backdrops and and I've ordered little bendable felted animals so they can sit and have a tea party and people can photograph that. The bendable animals are taking a really long time to get here because they're being custom made for us. So
We hope they're still here when the kids leave, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about them walking off,
Yeah.
because these are cute, but nobody's walked off with any yet. But the little bendable felted animals,
They're
I'm a little
fun.
more worried about, but we will see. We're gonna give it a try, give it a go.
It's very popular. It's great.
I can see why. You totally just play with this.
Yes,
This.
yes. Yeah, every time I come out here, it's a different arrangement. They could put the snowy tree with the snowy.
Is it the
backdrop.
adults that are arranging things or?
You know,
kids that-
I just come out and
Okay.
see
And
the
they're
arrangements.
different.
I've seen one kid working on it. I hope everybody's playing with
Yeah.
it, not just kids, but I'm not 100%.
I've seen adults.
You've seen adults? Okay.
This is where you can play as the player.
How long?
Important question for Kennis. How long is the exhibit up?
The end of August. When we close and we'll put in Western Meetings.
Oh, yeah, for Western Vision.
Yes.
Okay, how are we doing on time?
11:25.
11:25.
We have an activity that y'all can participate with the exhibit if you would like. No pressure. But I have that ready in the
Well,
classroom.
what time is Patrice starting? though?
30:35. So she still has a few
She
minutes.
still has a few minutes. Well, it would be good to, okay, well, maybe I'll go to the classroom and grab the sheets and bring them out. Just if we don't have time to do it, people can at least see.
Yeah,
what
you
it
can
is.
take it to go.
Yeah.
We can do it later.
For the exhibit, ask.
Hi, Lori. Do you want to babysit the Zoom for me?
Babysit the Zoom.
She did a beautiful job.
Cause I thought maybe you might have stuff here. Back there now. I'm not sure everybody was.
No, but that is snowy tree.
Right, oh, you're gonna do it, you're gonna go.
Lori's gonna do it.
The summer. The sunset though, I love it. Hey, snowball.
Do you have a phone? You have a camera. I don't need a camera. I'm just, how are you gonna take a picture?
In my mind.
Oh, in your mind? Sidebar. Are you putting the snowy tree in there?
We could.
Yeah.
You could do a really cool one, like make the world upside down.
All right, so these were activities that were given to us by the people who put on this exhibit. So they're technically meant for a younger school group population. But I think the ones that we specifically picked out are a lot of fun. They're about like figuring out which animals belong to which categories, like guessing like based on like find these birds in the exhibition and look closely at their beaks. Match the circular images with their beak descriptions. So they give you lots
Yeah.
of clues. And then there's also a complete the picture activity where they show you an outline of one of the photographs and you have to find the photograph and then finish the drawing. So we just have a couple if you guys want to work together and enjoy, and you can also move them around. So feel free.
Is this the first year they have an iPhone photo?
Yes.
It was in the.
Is that right?
It
Because
is the
remember
first
the
year.
African one had an iPhone category.
But for this museum,
Okay.
for them.
What do you mean by an iPhone?
So photos taken with an iPhone.
Oh, I
Instead of a
Just the
fancy
camera.
camera. Okay. Yeah. So check these out. You have 5 to 10 minutes. We need to be down in the Wapiti Gallery for Patrice to talk about the Conceptual Thread exhibit at 10:35. 10:35. So either spend this time, you have 5 to 10 minutes looking at the photos in here, reading the labels, or if you'd like to grab one of these and try it out.
I believe. And if they run out. That's fun. Yeah.
You know, watching this.
You're welcome. They don't want to look at me.
Hi. Hi, guys. So they're gonna be doing an activity for the next few minutes and then we'll do the training in Wapiti. So if you would like, I can show you slowly around the exhibit and show you some of the grand title winners.
Sure. Sounds fun.
Okay, cool. So we'll go to the grand title winners and go from there. I'm showing the zoom around. So this is the grand title winner for photographer of the year. And then this is the youth wildlife photographer of the year. This is macro photography.
That's amazing.
And then there's also a video talking about the grand title winners. We can't watch it because Zoom.
Mhm.
We'll point them towards the photograph.
This is gonna be great for summer, isn't it? I mean, it is. For years, when we had a meeting, we would put a little dish out and put some money in it for anybody who was sick or, you know. Well, I did it for years and years. And Christmas time, we always give Steve a ham.
Yeah.
And I looked at, I did, somebody said, will you put it in the bag? I said, no, I just put it in. And never enough, but that's okay. I just added to it. And so there's nothing in the fund initiatives. And I just thought if we could say before you leave, put a little dish out. And you don't have to put money in it, but
Yes, because this was brought up and I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
so
So
who
it
would,
would have to be a volunteer.
oh, well, I could sing it.
Yeah, if you would like. I'm just letting you know that like.
And the thing is,
Lisa said I
after about, what, how many years, I just would have somebody else do it because I can't drive anymore. Otherwise, I would just run over to Albertsons, get some flowers.
Yeah.
And I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give up, you know, stuff, but, maybe Jane could, I don't know, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's just a staff or not.
That's okay.
So it has to be, maybe you should recruit another volunteer.
Okay.
So you're someone out, yeah.
Right, that's good, thank you.
No, thank you.
Like a multiple, I feel like you made in the. Yeah, this one was very exciting. And then you got. Take care.
Oh, yeah, this is Lori. I'll tell her in a sec. This is the iPhone photo that everyone's talking about. It's an iPhone picture. And it
Cool.
won. So.
I have some photography contests with an iPhone picture. And in the situation, the judge was a little, we're not to be recording.
I mean, technically. And we got a point. I don't know. Tell me later.
The photo because
I'm safe. So nice to meet you. I'm so sorry. I've been running around like crazy. Haven't been able to introduce.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna. So you guys can see.
Whatever activity are.
So that.
We have special flights that are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll take the picture, but then I, oh, like that. And it turns it abstract. And it really abstract. Sex they were.
Okay.
But that's not what I.
Here, all right.
All right, everyone, if you could come back to the center of the exhibit, we're gonna start heading to the Wapiti Gallery for Patrice's training.
Okay.
If you guys want to leave your activities and drop them off in the classroom, if you wrote on them, if you want to leave them here.
Just leave here, I'll bring them to the classroom.
Yeah, Jane said you can leave them here. If you want to take it with you, feel free. I hope it was a little insightful. That's okay.
One of those.
It's all good. It was only just a few minutes. Usually you get longer to try. It's just trying to give you an like way to look closer at the exhibit and kind of see how the kids interact with them. So we're going to go to Wapiti, and thank you, Kennis, for providing some very important insight to the exhibit.
Thank you.
Yay. And now I'm going to turn around real slow and start slowly walking to Wapiti to not give anyone vertigo. Going to the Wapiti Gallery.
I was just grabbing my purse.
No, you're good. Understandable.
You guys. But you'll have to go back outside, so I'll probably give your elevator upstairs and then head down. Definitely go back.
Sit down for a second. It always takes a few minutes to get everybody moving from one place to the next. Only if they didn't have like the photojournalism categories, those didn't have a light box. So the teal ones were the winners.
Not all.
But not all the teal ones were the winners, or they're supposed to be. I'm gonna have to double check.
Something I don't understand compared to the others.
It's up to the discretion of the judges, and sometimes it's more about the story. Because I know for the youth category, I thought some of them were much more profound than the tiny one, but they said it's such a groundbreaking photograph, the one for the youth photography, that's part of the reason that they chose it, is that a photograph like that will probably never exist again. That bug near that slime mold. So that's kind of sometimes the reason. Where did my volunteers go?
There, it takes a while to move from one place to another.
That's why we
So much to see. There's just so much to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all, just give it a second. We're waiting for the rest of the volunteers to come.
You think you can tell how to do that? It was, your body. She'll tell us.
About,
The artists, are they from nearby or are they?
we stalled. Yeah. We're all still, they're still coming. I got, listen, we prepared a stall. So it's all good. But yeah, I'm gonna be standing near you with a Zoom call, so know that this is being zoomed and recorded. All right, welcome everyone to our temporary exhibit in Wapiti Gallery this summer, a conceptual thread. Patrice worked very hard on this exhibit, collecting the artists, doing the call, getting all the labels ready, and she's being willing to train us on it. So please pay good attention and give her good questions.
Thank you guys for coming to this training on a conceptual thread. So all of the work in a conceptual thread is textiles and fibers. And it was inspired by the Ruth Marshall tiger cub skin piece that's in our permanent collection. It was in unnatural selection, so we couldn't show it. But just thinking about how artists meditate on the things that have been lost or things that could have been lost. Specifically working in these mediums that are really time consuming, right? So kind of finding power through grief. And so when I kind of thought about fiber work, I immediately thought about Colleen Smith's piece. I saw these banners at the Whitney Biennial in 2017. And so her work historically was based on Afrofuturism and focused a lot on hope. But after the murder of Tamir Rice, she found herself in like a depressive state, writing these really kind of sad phrases in her journals. But she returned to them and created these banners inspired by Catholic Requiem with the phrases. So I encourage everyone to take a full loop of this one. With the phrases placed on the banner as well. And so then these are part of a performance piece where they created almost like hymns, songs that they carried these banners through the streets of New York City. So this is like a perfect example to me of finding power through grief.
What was this? What motivated this? Who died?
The murder of Tamir Rice.
Who was he?
He was a 12-year-old boy who was shot by police in a park because he had a BB gun, essentially. Not even a BB gun, I think it was like a water gun.
It was a water gun.
Yeah. So he shot and killed when he was 12 years old.
Just one of several.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she did a series of these banners. So one says like "Rage blooms within me," which is the one I really remember from the Whitney Biennial. But at the Whitney, they were up really high, so that you couldn't get a sense of the scale. So I think it's really nice to have it low, where we can kind of interact with it a little bit more.
That's a lot of sequin.
I know. It must have taken so long.
Done by hand.
I think so.
Is it? Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I'll kind of transition back over here. So the only piece in this show that's from the museum's permanent collection is this Navajo bear rug. And this is also another Navajo weaver, Roy Cady. And so his work is he describes himself as an artist and a shepherd. So his family taught him how to shepherd the sheep, but also how to collect the fiber, how to process the fiber, how to naturally dye the fiber, and then how to create the weaving. And so this piece from the permanent collection, this artist is unknown. We know like the last 4 steps of how it came to the museum, but we don't know anything about the person who made it. So I kind of love the way that these 2 pieces speak to each other, talking about the advancement, right? Of like, before they would only credit the culture, and now we know about this artist, which I think shows some progress. But also how the weaving has evolved as well.
And it's the first time it's been in the collection for a while. Bill Kerr bought it for the museum. It's the first time it's ever been out.
Yeah, he purchased it, I think it says on the label, but
I'm sure never.
in 96. So, yeah. First time it's out. And so in the corner here, we have Dawn Williams Boyd. And so she describes herself as a cloth, like a fabric painter, not as like a quilter. But she is focusing on issues that are affecting African Americans in the country that she feels are being ignored in the news cycle. So she's like thinking about what we're going to lose if we don't pay attention to it.
Is there an overall name for this type of art?
No, so that's a great point. All of these are different textile mediums. So this is considered fiber textile art, but it's all different kinds. So we have like a crock brag rug there, which is one type of weaving. Then we have a tapestry weaving by Doris Florig right next to it. And so those, and then we have this Navajo style weave. We have the jacquard weaving, and then we have Mary Alice's weaving. So those are just, they're all done on a loom, but they're all done separate, like totally
Weaving has been
different.
around for a long time.
Really long time.
Long time.
Mhm.
And there's no name for that kind of stuff. I mean, like.
I mean, the old, like she said, the overall name is textile art. Or fiber art.
Or fiber art. But when you think about it, it's like you're painting, right? So we have like that umbrella of painting, but then you have acrylic painting, you have oil painting, you have watercolor painting. So, yeah, so it's like under the same realm, but it's like the title, I guess, would be like textile art, right? But then there's different mediums.
People try to do the craft thing too.
Well, that's another, what do you mean by the craft thing?
Like, they'll call it craft, similar to what, like needlepoint is a craft. Correct,
So we-
or like the folks who do the woodwork, like a shaker.
Oh.
You know, that's an art, but some people would categorize it as craft.
Well, and I
Because
think
it's,
that's a really good point that you bring up, and something that I was thinking about too is like historically, these mediums have been considered like functional, creating a functional item.
Right.
Historically, they've been done by women, and so I think they've been considered less than like a high art, but I think this show really highlights that this is high art. Yeah, and not just
Rugs
craft.
would be like a separate section, aren't there? I mean, there's all kinds of rugs,
I-
Indian rugs,
I-
Turkish rugs.
Yeah, you could think about it that way. Like Ingrid drives me crazy. She's like, that piece costs $100. I'm like, what are you talking about?
oh,
She's such a skilled weaver, but she won't consider herself an artist, you know?
Which one are you talking?
The one between the vest and we can go over there. Yeah, Jane.
Like quilts. Also,
And
that's an
she,
art, but it's
Ingrid's
also.
box also is the one who's designed the interactive one as well. And I think everyone is familiar with our Make It Wild art making series, right? Yeah.
Classes for adults.
So Mason, these are all of our instructors for those classes. So Mason Wood is going to be doing hand sewn mending. Ingrid is going to be making little crock brag coasters. And on the end, Alyssa Aaron-Krantz is going to be doing a hooking class. And Doris is going to be doing a week-long residency in the lobby.
this is a volunteer. Are those classes open to the public?
Yeah.
So on the website.
Yeah, they're all on the website. I have a little thing here.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're all on the website, and all of the registration fees go to our scholarship that we give out to a high school senior who's pursuing art at the college level. So that's what that's supporting.
Yeah, the first one's in July. They start in July
Ingrid's is on the website, and it starts July 19th.
and the dates are right behind Patrice.
Oh, yeah.
and
That's what they take in a picture. Yeah.
July, August and
In
October.
October.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
Until 11. Oh, so you got 10 minutes.
You know, she uses all just regular. Stuff. I mean, I'm in the last one, you know, it's just like. Yeah. Yeah. It's, that's how they make it. Yeah. And they read like. So what are they?
Yeah. So I'll also tell you a bit about, sorry, we got a little distracted talking about the craft. But here we have Brent McGee's piece. And so all of this was made using recycled materials. So old bed sheets, old t-shirts, or 90% of it. And he's from the Pacific Northwest, so he's depicting tidal pools.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is amazing. That one's-
But he taught himself how to quilt. It's like he was like, I'm gonna enter a quilt show, and then he
And
got
how long would it take for someone to do something like that?
a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for, I know Mason, who made the vest in that corner, she spent about 30 hours on the vest. And for these skilled weavers, we have an example, like a cartoon is the reference that the weavers would make to make these like massive tapestries that are on those photos on the What is Tapestry on that back wall. And so to create one of those tapestries would have taken one person 6.5 years, like a really advanced weaver to do that. So, yeah.
Does a weaver use a loom?
But there are different types of looms. So these looms that we made here were modeled after a Navajo style loom. So then the crock rug was made on a 4-shaft loom. So the loom that we have here is like the most rudimentary, simple loom. You have to manually pluck the fibers. There's no pedals that will switch the shaft for you. So, yeah.
And did you point out that the other coral reef across the way?
Yeah.
I love coming in here and being able to tell people to look at both and explain the difference. Sorry, I missed it when you said that.
No, I haven't thought about that, so that I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, this piece that Jane is pointing to is by Anna Franklin. She's a UK artist. And she crochets each individual element of the coral and then sews it onto a frame. And she's talking about coral bleaching with this piece.
That's the most amazing thing.
They are.
I know, it's like,
Must have taken
I know. No.
That's bad.
It's yarn,
Oh, my gosh.
crochet.
You got a lot to learn. This label says embroidered instead of crochet.
It's embroidered onto the frame.
Oh.
So she crochets each individual piece and then it's sewn
Oh.
onto the frame, yeah.
It would take a long time.
Oh,
Yeah.
they all take, they take a long time.
They take a long time. Yeah.
And was it, did you explain to me why they why corals bleach like that?
It's when the water heats up or there's too much UV going into the coral then like releases all of the
Zooxanthellae.
what
That.
Lauren said, but like all the good algae that's like growing there, and that's what causes it to bleach.
So
And so-
it's a dead reef.
They can come
Right?
back,
They can't come
but
back.
it's very rare that they do. Yeah. So. And then this piece by Bailey Russell, she is a teacher at the University of Wyoming. She was an artist residency with the state of Wyoming, and so she went and cataloged all of the native plants, or a section of the native plants in Wyoming, using cyanotyping. Does everyone know what cyanotyping? Are we familiar with that process? So it's one of the oldest photographic processes. So essentially you combine two chemicals together and you paint it onto a surface. So you could do paper or fabric, works on a lot of different surfaces. And then you'll place an item on top and expose it to the sun and then rinse it out. And you're left with this kind of silhouette. But it's one of the oldest types of photographs. And she's talking about, was inspired by Anna Atkins, who essentially created the first photo book. But she was another artist, scientist who created a catalog of different species. So combining the art of science with the art of photography. And then she partnered with Kiana Henney, who created the quilt. So Kiana quilted everything together. But it's really important for scientists to be cataloging all the species because so many species are becoming extinct due to climate change. And so by cataloging them, then you know how many there are, which ones are the most important to, like, who needs the most protection and the most help, right?
They use a regular sewing machine to do this.
Yeah, it's really hard. I tried to quilt, I never finished. It's really challenging.
When my daughter was young, I bought a packet of that sun print paper. Is that similar or is it the same? as
That's like
cyanotype?
pre-coated cyanotype paper, essentially, yeah.
Can you touch on the
Sunprint.
part being for sale and which ones are not for sale?
Yeah, so almost all of the pieces in the room are for sale. So if anyone is interested, we'll just direct them, we'll put them in touch directly with the artist. The only ones that aren't for sale Roy Katie's piece, the piece from our permanent collection, and I believe Mary Alice's piece, they're not looking to sell, but I believe everything else is for sale. So, yeah.
Did you tell them about the connection, Mary Alice to Anna?
Yeah, so everyone know Anna DeLand, who runs the store? That's her aunt, Mary Alice. And so Mary Alice was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And Doris Florig, who made the swan plein air tapestry, she helped her continue weaving after she got her diagnosis. So she moved up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have nothing else, we can head back.
Does anyone have any other questions before we head back?
Any questions from our volunteers? They just get
You guys know where to find me if you do.
Yeah,
So,
Patrice is here.
It's gonna be here till into November.
yeah,
right?
it'll be here the first week of November, but we're also working with Roy Katie on a program, like a closing reception kind of event as well. Because we opened the same day as the elephants, so it was kind of a,
Which department are you in?
I'm in education, I work under Jane.
Yeah, we're together.
I lost my name back.
And then I lost my
Name tag really
name back
fast.
today.
Yeah, I know.
You say this is going to be here until November.
November 2nd. And then we'll have a video exhibition.
So some of you may know that the Wapiti Gallery is, the exhibits that happen in here are under education. So the education department oversees, comes up with the ideas, presents it to programs team, works with the artist, selects the pieces. We often have, some of you, most of you, I think, know we have sometimes school kids artwork in here. We have the state of the art, which is the K through 12, we work with the art teachers and the art students. And then we have the student curated exhibit in January, which is, they come up with the theme, they do everything. And then in the summer, we try to do a community kind of focus thing. This is the first one Patrice has put together. She hasn't even quite been with us for a year yet, and she's done such a beautiful job. She's elevated. I mean, we've had community artwork in here, and we've done calls for artists before, which she did for this one, but she also, in addition to the call for artists, she did her own research and reached out to artists she was familiar with or that she was introduced to. So this one is a much higher value, certainly in terms of monetary insurance value of the art. So help us prevent people from touching the artwork, but it's also a higher level exhibit in terms of just the quality of what we're looking at in here.
Great job.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Patrice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, she did it.
All right, we're going to continue our meeting back in the members lounge. So if you guys want to make your way there, I'm going to reset up the Zoom call on the projector. It was all good. We stalled.
Right?
Oh, no. Crazy. They will take their time coming back. Thank you all for your patience. I know, what a trip we went on.
That is amazing.
Cool.
No, yes. Just
Like the exhibit.
I still see.
What the awesome. Oh.
I think it's okay.
It's all good. I'm,
This is the thing that was. This section here.
So I was, yeah.
I mean, this is a book about the orphan. You found nature or something else.
There, just to make it over enough. I can't I guess. So that's a good use
So.
okay, this looks like mostly everybody. Hi, everyone. Thank you for understanding the moving around with all the trainings. I hope that was helpful as we continue into the summer season and we see a lot of guests. You guys will be able to now talk about those a little more confidently. I hope. I'm gonna go ahead and get started and get through a lot because there's a lot to talk about today. We have a lot of staff coming to talk to you all at 11:30. So I want to make sure on my end, I'm not running over. All right, so as you guys know, this is our quarterly volunteer meeting where I'm updating you about all the important things happening both at the museum, but also within the volunteer department. So as a reminder, our mission is to impart knowledge and generate wonder through art and education. Our vision is to inspire connections with wildlife, art, and nature. And our values, which I hope you all embody every day you guys volunteer, are integrity, excellence, collaboration, transparency, accountability, and financial responsibility. So.
They have your attention, please. If you would like to join Walk Up Wednesday's tour, please meet at the front desk.
Walk Up Wednesday, by the way. You guys didn't know? Oh, Walk Up Wednesday. Don't worry, Anna Knapp has graciously volunteered to cover while we're in our meeting. So. And it's been very popular. I had the first Walk Up Wednesday last week and I had 22 people in my group. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. Good crowd. All right. Well, I planned this not around the Zoom format, so please forgive. I will read out some of this because I know what it reads. We have a new award that was brought to us forward by Steve Siemens. I mentioned it slightly in the last quarterly meeting, but it is now official and we have started all the processes for it. So I can now show you all the formal details. Basically, this award will be Volunteer of the Quarter. So Volunteer of the Year, Volunteer of the Quarter. This is just a way to recognize volunteers on a more frequent basis for all the great work you do. And especially some people, you know, we have seasonal volunteers, as you guys know, and it's a bit harder to maybe sometimes think about them for Volunteer of the Year because they're not here the whole year, but we still want to recognize. So this what this award will be. It'll be based on the previous quarter's example. So example for our September quarterly, the performance will be based on tomorrow till the day of the quarterly. So the next few months, our big summer season, that is where you guys can watch your peers. If you see something fantastic, nominate them for this Volunteer of the Quarter. And we'll talk about how that works in a second. They'll be nominated to the education department, who will then look at all the nominations and select it. It won't be drawn out of a hat. It'll be a decision based on Patrice, Jane, and I. And of course, input. Staff are also allowed to nominate as well. So if they see you guys doing anything spectacular, they can also choose to nominate you guys for this. We created these new criteria kind of based off the museum values, but a little more applicable to the volunteer program.
So for instance, there's the outstanding performance. The volunteer nominated has achieved an astounding performance in their work, going above and beyond expectation. This could include an exceptional tour, rising above and beyond, or doing extra work. And I include examples in each of these, but I'll just talk about the content of each. Consistent service. This volunteer has been nominated to show consistent and reliable service through their work. Could be several things. And they might have the collaborative spirit. The volunteer nominated has shown an exemplary collaborative spirit. This could include going above and beyond to help a staff member or volunteer, offering to lead group volunteer projects, etc. And then museum advocacy. You guys are some of our biggest advocates for different programs and special events happening at the museum. So we want to not, recognize that y'all are a large part of that. The volunteer nominated has shown willingness to advocate for the museum and its volunteer program in the community. This could include attending our programs, bringing in new volunteers, and spreading awareness of the museum's mission. So typically when you guys want to nominate someone, you'll hopefully use one of these. I'll share a document sharing this criteria and all these steps with you after today. But you'll include whatever criteria you think the volunteer represented best. You'll send it to us. It may be an example of like a little bit of writing about why you think so. The prize will be, nearly got there. The prize will be a parking spot at the front of the south lot that I have a little fancy sign. I'm still getting approved by marketing. They're a little busy. Basically, a little sign that says volunteer of the quarter, and y'all get to park in that spot. I know a lot of people were like, oh, can we take one of the handicap spots? Legally, we can't do that, but you do get one of the spots right next to it. And you also will get lunch with Steve as palette. Steve, who is sponsoring and kind of came up with this idea, really wants to show his buy-in to the participation of it. So you get the parking spot and then you get a lunch with Steve. That's something that once you get the award, I work with you and Steve to schedule. Any questions about the volunteer of the quarter or comments?
Safe, will you email the group when it's starting?
Yes.
Or when it's time to nominate?
It'll be as a reminder. I'll probably about 2 weeks out to the next quarterly meeting. I will send out a reminder with a document with all the criteria and things like that. But in the meantime, if you do see something, just make sure you title the email, volunteer of the quarter nomination. So I know that I can add it to that poll. It can be earlier, but I will send out a reminder before it comes. Any other questions or? Awesome. That was the big thing of this meeting. Volunteer Leadership Committee. The Volunteer Leadership Committee is still in need of new members or returning members, if you feel so kind. Lori Ray stepped down after serving for 8 years. Woo! Lori had 8.5. Oh, so sorry. I remembered the 8, not the half, but 8.5 long years serving on the VLC. She has helped with so many different ways, so I'm happy to let her go, but we do need someone to replace her. So if you feel like you have the time, we've gone over the details before, but it's basically the first Wednesday of every month. You meet with me and a few other volunteers and Jane, and you guys let us know about maybe things going on in the museum. You give me your thoughts on volunteer programs. If you want to have opinions about what we do with the party, that's one of the best places to speak those opinions, and that's what happens at the VLC. Any questions about VLC or possibly what would it be like to join? And you don't have to be here full time. We have several who are here for the summer and then they Zoom in during the winter or vice versa. So if you're interested, please email me so I can include you in any further future communications. If you're a little nervous and you're unsure about it, you can even attend a meeting just to see what it looks like, and that you don't have to commit till after that. Any other questions, comments? Awesome. Sorry, my arms are tired from carrying a laptop. It's harder than you think because you have to hold it like this. Good form. Volunteer Lounge. I don't know if any of you have seen or gone in recently, but it's now operational after about a month and a half of renovations. Nothing too crazy. We got it a new coat of paint and some new furniture. And thank you to Lori and Ellen Sanford for working so hard on getting that going. It still has some decorative elements we're working on securing. Some of them you may see on the ground, but I promise they're out of the way. But feel free to use it. I know lots of people have been using it to meet for lunch or just some place to hang out before it shifts. So I hope you guys could utilize it more in the future. Also, if you are helping or want to help with the elephant migration, that is where you get your fun little elephant guardian vest and name tag.
Yeah.
Well, not name tag, lanyard. That's the word. Yes?
We're in need of a bench,
Yeah, I've been looking for it, but
but somebody may have one in their cubby hole somewhere.
yes. So we'd like to have a bench for people to sit on. We have a table and some chairs, but there's an area for a bench in there. The reason we're finding it a little difficult is we're trying to avoid any like plush feet. Maybe some pillows on top, but we would like the feet to be wooden to avoid any creatures. That's the best way to put it. To avoid the creatures coming back into the volunteer lounge. That's part of the reason we also did it. When there was, cleaning and things, they found creatures. So we cleaned and everything to try and make sure they don't return. So if you guys have a bench or see anyone who's selling a bench, I'm constantly looking at Facebook Marketplace for a bench.
Approximately of how long?
Laura's got the dimensions.
24 to 36, 18 wide,
Yeah.
so that when you walk in on the left, you can either put something down or your butt, then you have the 2 chairs. Then you have that door to the office and then the 4 in the back.
So when
you say wide, you mean wide or you mean deep? 18 deep. Could be up to 36, 32 to 36 long, even 18. At the moment, something is better than nothing.
Yeah, we're not too, the only thing we're picky about, like I said, is like plush. Like we can't have plush, we can't have felt.
Something that creatures like.
Something that creatures like. Yes, we're looking for some wood. A stone might be a stretch, but that'd be a little crazy. I wouldn't want to carry it, but we could maybe make security do it. And as you guys know, there was that volunteer nook. It was kind of a messy bookshelf. We've also moved that into that front of house office. So some staffing changes have happened, which is something we're going to go over in a little bit. Brent, who used to be the front of house manager, is now working in security. That position is currently being interviewed and worked on. But in the meantime, that office isn't being used. So if you ever feel like you need to go get something from the volunteer nook, it's now on the shelves in that office, kind of sorted into different, categories. Like I see the categories, but not everyone does. And also, if you are currently doing docent training or want to become docent trained, I've added some of the supplemental materials to there. I went and bought some books to include on there. So if you guys want to use the nook at all, feel free. It's now in that front of house manager office.
There's a lot of good books in there. A lot came out of the library.
Yeah, so definitely feel free to use that to continue your education. Docent tour policy change. This is a big one coming up. So this is primarily for docents, but again, if you're interested in becoming a docent, this might apply to you. To ease the burden of evening docent tours, we understand that it's often during dinner time. It's late at night often. We want to understand that difficulty. Events are now agreed to provide a docent meal if the event is being catered. And most of the evening events are catered. I just had to put that caveat because events maybe. You have to inform me at least one full day before your tour. So for instance, American Cruise Lines is tonight. If you happen to sign up last minute for this, I could not provide you a docent meal because catering has already bought the supplies and has not accommodated an extra meal. But if you signed up for there's not one tomorrow, by the way, but if you had signed up for tomorrow and you told me today, then I could get you a docent meal. That's how that system works. It will be the chef's meal, so it'll kind of be like what they're cooking for whatever there's no choice. Like I can't pick and choose what I can get you, unfortunately, but they can. So what happens this morning is Wednesdays, they reset my computer and I had to go in and add all the information again last minute. So I think I just did not catch the spell check. I apologize. Allergies can be accommodated. So if you have an allergy, if you tell me with your docent meal, that can be accommodated. So full day in advance, you tell me your allergies, not your allegories. And I can accommodate that. You don't have to eat with the group. It's up to you. The meal is just, again, to understand that is happening during an evening time. And we want to provide a meal.
I can verify the meal was really good.
Yeah, Lucretia covered an evening tour the other day. Yes. Yeah, so Lucretia did an evening tour the other day and she got a docent meal and she tested.
So Lucretia, did you take it home with you?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so kind of like pallet can pack it to go, they'll pack it to go if you want, or if you do want to stay, that's up to you, but you really don't have to.
But sometimes the group doesn't want another person
Exactly.
to join.
I just meant like you could take it to like
to
the
the staff.
volunteer lounge or the staff kitchen and not worry about it taking it home if that is inconvenient for you. If
Which
you're
I would
hungry.
have done, but I had 2 little doggies waiting for me.
Yeah, God, I would do the same. And like I said, I hope this makes evening tours and filling them a little bit easier. Any questions about this new docent tour policy change?
Thank you, Sage, for making it happen. We've been trying for a long time to make it happen.
Well,
Yes.
when you go into an office and say, please, 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 enough times throughout the week, it also helps. I share a wall with Jessie. So it's kind of like I can knock on the door and be like, please, 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 please give my docents a meal. It works out. Any other questions, comments about the docent tour policy change? Just more of an update than a change, but you thought you were raising your so probably the most important part, besides the volunteer reporter and the docent, is the summer volunteer opportunities. Here's what's coming up for you guys to help out with. As always, Lori will inform me whenever we do the library cleanup shifts, and we will post those to VicNet. It's not really doing the library per se right now, kind of moved on to the archive and slimming the archive down a little bit, which is good work. I had to do that a lot in my graduate degree, so.
So, is there a volunteer coming to the board meeting that's coming?
Yeah, so not this coming board
Uh-huh.
meeting, because I couldn't fit onto the agenda, but we plan to be on the one in August.
Well, I think the board should know about the library cleanup. I think that's really a great
Yeah,
thing that you guys are doing. I think they should know about that.
yeah, no, I plan to do a big update in the August one. It's just when I asked if I could be added to the agenda, they said there was no room on this next one, so, you know, August for sure this time. And Lucretia has volunteered to do that job, so I will work with her to create the update. We'll run it by Jane, and then she will go present to the board, so wish Lucretia luck. Fables, Feathers, and Fur is now every Friday through August. So if you like reading to the kids, helping out with the craft, we still are trying to maintain that 1 Fables per month policy to ensure that everybody gets a chance to do it. But sometimes, you know, we still need coverage. So if I ask, hey, can anyone do Fables? And you've already done it once, feel free, especially if I ask for it. Because that's more, you know.
Means we don't have someone.
It means we don't have someone. Like I know this Friday, you don't have anyone for Fables. So if you have the time, I know it's gonna be a fun project and you'll get to work with our new education intern that many of you know, Wiley. He is gonna be his first time
So some of
helping.
you were wondering who that young man was working on the loom at the far end of Wapiti. That's Wiley Menolacino, who is our paid education intern. And he worked at the admissions desk last summer. He's now graduated from college and he's a paid intern, working in education all summer, June, July, and August.
So he'll be helping a lot with Fables, but we of course always want volunteers to help us out as well. Docent tours, boy, do we have docent tours. Docent tours are crazy this summer. So if you are in training and want to shadow a docent tour so that you can get that part of your training done, let me know. Some tours we don't prefer you to shadow because they're like private one-on-one tours. And that's something that Anna's talked to me a little bit about, but most tours that you can follow. Or like a VIP tour, like we had a VIP tour with Denver Art Museum the other day, and that we would not want you to shadow that because it's supposed to be a VIP experience. But yeah, it was it's
not typical.
Yeah, it's not typical at all. I'd say majority of our tours are open to the public. And then with docent tours, we're also doing walk-up Wednesdays again. That started last week. So I did the one last week, and then Anna has done this week to help us cover for QVM. But from this point on, if you are a free docent, this is also a great time if you're becoming docent trained to shadow, because the docent walk-up Wednesdays are consistent times that we are having these docent tour run. So Monday musings on the trail starting soon. I have to talk to Jane about that with our schedules and where we can best fit it. Cause we've both had a little bit of a crazy few weeks with everything going on. So, but we'll hope to do some Monday musings on some of the sculptures, especially if we get some new ones preparing in September. It's it'd be important to make sure you brush up on all the ones that we currently have. My evaluation project is still running through June. If you've participated in the training or wish to watch the recording on the evaluation training to help out, feel free. I know it's a little intimidating, but the overall, it's just an hour of either asking people to do a survey or tracking people's behaviors. So it's very low lift. You get to sit down the whole time for most of them. So if you have the time, please participate if you can. We need some more data results. We also have the Great Elephant Migration. It will be leaving. So there's a farewell event on June 22nd. And the reason I say leaving June 20th is I have to confirm with Aubrey, but I believe that they will start maybe packing up, like getting the elephants ready to transport for the 22nd event. So that's something to consider, is that there will be shifts through this 22nd date. Some of you already even signed up for those later dates, but I'm not sure what the state of the elephants will be as they start to pack up and all these kinds of things.
Could you remind me, what does that event look like? We don't know yet.
When I have those details, guess who's gonna get them? But also, Stephanie and Gabrielle plan to come in and speak a little bit about it.
Okay.
And actually, Gabrielle just yesterday at 5 o'clock sent me the official request. So feel free, I'm gonna send that out in a little bit, but it's basically talking to people about the elephants, maybe helping hand out drinks, very simple, low lift event shifts. As a reminder, because Aubrey wanted me to say this, the Great Elephant Migration, those shifts look long, 2.5 to 2 hours, but they are very much, you don't have to stay the whole time. You mainly want them there for the coexistent chats. I could provide you chairs and shade. There's water out there. There's a lot of different options. We mainly need help on Mondays and Tuesdays when she's gone. So especially in the last few weeks it's here, if you could sign up for those Monday, Tuesday shifts, it would be a big help to me, but also a big help to Aubrey, who's worked really hard to keep these elephants safe while they're here. And she's very appreciative of you guys. She tells me all the time that she loves the volunteers that are coming out and she thinks y'all are fantastic. And she also wants to steal Lucretia from me. I can't let that happen, so don't agree to anything, Lucretia.
Did I miss something? What?
Yeah, I was saying Aubrey wants to steal you, and I said no, you can't have her. Don't agree to anything from Aubrey. This coming week, Plain Air Fest is coming up. If you have signed up to volunteer, there is a required training tomorrow, either at 11 or at 2. It is on your agendas. No excuses for forgetting. It's on the agendas. I'm saying it. Stephanie and Gabrielle are going to say it in a little bit. Come to that training and then I will see you. I will be there all day Saturday from 6:30 to probably 2-ish. So if there's anything you need, I'll be running around. If you guys have to go to the bathroom or you just need a little break, you wave me down. I fulfill your role for a little bit and then you come back. So that's what I will be doing.
Will training be in the auditorium?
Training will be in the auditorium. So, any other questions about Plain Air Fest or the training or anything like that? Awesome. And then this is another remote volunteer opportunity. This is from Ara. We've had difficulties in the past with these because of factory IT and their security settings. Don't get me started. We've been fighting factory IT and I. But if you feel like you can probably handle the logon situation or you just want something to do where you don't always come into the museum, she needs some help with another board trustee assignment. So if you're interested in that, please email me after the meeting or even talk to me after the meeting. How'd I do?
Great.
Yeah. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Well, my museum update happened earlier because of the schedule change. And Stephanie and Gabrielle did ask to go first. But I see some of our front of house here. So if y'all don't mind going while we wait. So as a preface, there is a lot of staff changes currently going on. I sent out an email, but as you know, Tammy is no longer our curator of art. So the board will be handling a recruitment process for a new curator of art soon. We also will be getting a new preparator in July. She won't be here until undisclosed time. So when she's introduced, she'll probably be introduced at the September quarterly. But I'll also make sure to encourage her to introduce herself to you all when she comes in. And then Wiley, our intern, he'll be coming back in a little bit. He had to help with something else this morning. I told him he should come to the potluck, so he better be here. It's free food, how could you not? And then we have a whole lot of new front of house staff. So Anna is gonna introduce to them. If you wanna come up here so the Zoom can see you, that would be fantastic. There's 4 new front of house staff. Because front of house is very busy, they can't all come at once, so Anna's going to be introducing as many as she can.
Hi guys, welcome back for the summer. Those of you who just got back to town, we're really excited to see you all. So today with me I have Kai Simpkins. Hi. Kai grew up in Star Valley area and is currently a student at the University of Wyoming, but is taking a semester off this winter to get married. We will have Kai through the end of the year, so we're really excited to have Kai be a part of the team, carry us through our off-season Western visions, all that fun stuff into the winter holidays. So please introduce yourself. We're really excited about our new members. Then we have Caitlin, who is joining us as our new e-commerce administrator. So Caitlin's going to be handling a lot of our website shop stuff. Caitlin just moved here from Salt Lake area with her mother, who is working for Tom Mangelson down at his gallery. We're really excited for Caitlin to be joining us because Caitlin has a really great set of skills for our website. Not only does she have immaculate customer service, online customer service skills, but she also has ran her own online shop for quite some time. Before working with us, Caitlin worked in the customer service portion of the IRS. So immaculate customer service, like, you know, can deal with the best of the best or the worst of the worst, however you want to put that. We have 2 other new members who are not here today. They have their day off today, but I'm still gonna talk to you about them. We have Katarina Hahn. Katarina just moved here from Arizona. Katarina has a degree from the Northern Arizona University in Art History and Business Administration. She's going to be with us year-round full-time, and she has worked at the Scottsdale Museum of Contemporary Art and has worked at Deal Gallery downtown in the past. So we're really excited to see what Katarina does with us and what kind of growth she has with us. And then finally, we have Julia McJunkin, who is from here in Jackson, grew up here in Jackson. She is currently a student at the University of Montana in Missoula. Did I say? Yes, University of Montana in Missoula. And she is studying anthropology. So another local girl up front, we're very excited to have her on the team as well. So make sure that you guys introduce yourselves, say hi. I know a lot of you spend a lot of time up front, whether it's volunteering at the front desk, in the shop, or doing docent tours. So we're really excited for you guys to get to know our new team. Thank you. Yay. Thank you.
This completely moved where I had it earlier. That front of house.
Wiley should I go grab Wiley?
Yeah, you wanna see if Wiley is in the classroom?
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, I don't, if you don't mind, come here. Oh, and Heidi's back. Heidi is also gonna be speaking and introducing herself. So for the next few weeks, we will have a curatorial intern / volunteer who's also helping me and education out with some projects, just to give her some variety of experience. So do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Annalie Peterson and I'm from Colorado and I'm just here for June.
June. Try and say it one more time.
My name is Annalie Peterson and I'm just volunteering for the month of June and I'm just living with my grandma Debbie.
Debbie Peterson, there you go. Yeah, She will be primarily working with curatorial, like I said, coming over to us sometimes. So make sure you see her, say hi. She is going to 9th grade this fall, so she's currently 14. But we hope that she learns a lot while she's here at the museum. And feel free to introduce and say hi whenever you get the chance. Thank you. Well, we're gonna see if Wiley can make it in. Jade finds Wiley, but also someone who just joined the Zoom call, but we're going to introduce in a little bit. She's a little further down in the agenda is Heidi Larson David. I mentioned it before, but she is our new director of development. She's hoping to, you know, help us ramp up memberships, get more sponsors, all kinds of things, and she'll be introducing herself because Pontier had a meeting, so Pontier couldn't jump into this one. But she also will be talking about Old Bill's Fun Run, but we'll do that in just a second. The reason that I'm kind of sticking strict to time this time is Stephanie and Gabrielle very busy doing plein air prep, so they asked to come in right at 11:30 and be the first ones out. So I'm trying to respect that wish, but I think I also ended just a tad 1 minute off. Sometimes I'm just too good. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, are there any other questions or things that have come up or thoughts that you all had? Here comes Wiley! Yay! I don't have to stall.
Should we still on that?
Yeah, come to where the Zoom camera is. Oh, I'm really pale and the camera's not picking up that well. It's picking up everyone else.
Okay, so everybody, this is Wiley Menelocino.
Hello.
And some of you know Wiley because he was here last summer. He was still in college at the time, but worked at the admissions desk and in the shop some last summer. And Wiley applied for our paid summer internship in the education department for this year. And he was clearly the best applicant. And he just started Monday. And he's, Patrice is Wiley's supervisor, and he's working on all kinds of things, everything from gallery upkeep to working with visitors on the Loom and Conceptual Thread exhibit to working with curatorial on a few things they're doing. He's going to be doing a lot with Fables, Feathers, and Fur. So if you sign up to work Fables, Feathers, and Fur, you'll most likely be working with Wiley. And what else should they know about you? He grew up here in Jackson.
Yeah, I grew up here in Jackson. I've always loved art. I'm a big skier. I mean, that's really it. Come talk to me if you ever want to have a fun chat. Talk about whatever you like. Good conversationalist. So, and I'm also an artist, so I do art. So that's there too.
He just graduated from Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, just a few weeks ago.
Yes, I did.
And some of you may know his father, Dr. Menelocino, but not Mark.
Mike.
Mike Menelocino. What was that?
Nothing.
And his office for now is in the back corner of the education classroom. There's that little round table. That's where you can find Wiley if he's not out in the galleries. And he will be joining us for lunch. So say hello in person when you get to know him better. We're really happy he's with us.
Yay. All right, Stephanie, Gabrielle, whenever y'all are ready. We are buying time. I ended slightly early. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to summer. Okay, so you can go to the next slide.
Oh, hello.
Actually, I think I know everyone except for a couple people. I'm Stephanie. I'm the programs and events manager. Gabrielle is behind us. She is the events coordinator, so she works for both external events and internal events, and I do internal. So here are some volunteer opportunities that are coming up this summer. Obviously, Plein Air Fest this Saturday. Please come to our training. We have one of two trainings tomorrow. So if you cannot make either of those times, you have to meet with me at some point. Either call or meet with me in person. I do have a very tight schedule the next 2 days, so please let me know. June 22nd, we are going to have the Great Elephant Migration Farewell event. This is to say goodbye to the elephants. They're literally on the cars and trailers, ready to go. But we will be doing some decorating of the trucks. So Gabrielle will head that up. We also have some chai and lemonade provided for guests. I do not expect this to be as big as the Great Elephant Migration blessing of the elephants 2 weeks ago on the 30th. But it'll be nice that we'll have the matriarchs here. We will also have the GEM crew or Great Elephant Migration crew here to represent the exhibit and saying goodbye.
So Stephanie, will the elephants all be relocated to the trucks by that time? Or will they still be down where they are now?
The same face I made. Little TBD. We will have a spot for them for people to decorate them, like at least a group of them. So that will be taking place in the amphitheater, which is what we have advertised. So it'll be right up here at the front entrance.
How are you decorating them?
There are magnets that they sent us, so people can stick the magnets on the trucks. The trucks are rented, so it's very strict on that. And then Gabrielle has a little kids craft as well, not so little, kids craft with some garland that they'll create. And that can be like strung up on outside the trucks before they leave. So yeah. Let's see what else. And then if you'd like to participate on New Mountain Trail, that's Gabrielle is also leading that in July and August. And of course, Western Vision stuff will be spoken about
in a little bit.
Anyone have any questions?
If the matriarchs are gonna be here, does that mean share?
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
Ferguson.
I want it.
We have not gotten that list yet, but the matriarchs are also the women in India who are flying out here.
The ones who make the elephants.
Yeah, made and created, and I just know that people are flying.
Yeah.
Do you know that Amy Vitale, photographer, she was in 50 Greatest Photos. She's kind of a big deal. We know that she will be here. That's the only thing we've been given. So
Big for saying.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And hold on, one more.
Oh yeah, and then thank you all for participating and helping with the events that have just happened, and also
Bobby, you're up here.
looking forward to also yoga on the trail. What was I gonna say? Fun little fact. For the Great Elephant Migration coming from here to Jackson, we have 2 local artists, musicians that I helped introduce to the team that will be traveling with him. That's Hillary Camino and Missy Joe. So we have 2 local musicians who will be going along the trail. That are going to LA. So, and if you're in LA, they will be in Beverly Hills, along Santa Monica Falls. But yeah.
Stephanie, do you know where in Beverly Hills? No, Beverly.
The garden.
I'm blanking too.
It's some garden. I don't.
They just voted to approve it.
Hill Salon.
Santa Monica, yeah.
I don't think it's because people asked me that when I was out there. I didn't know the answer. So what about art fairs?
I think it's on their website now.
It is.
They published it on the website by now. So.
Oh, really? On the elephant website?
Yeah.
All right, Madison.
I'll stay up.
Just let me know.
Beverly Gardens Park.
Beverly Gardens Park.
That's in Beverly Hills.
We're the next topic. All right.
All right. Western Visions. So Steph is my colleague in Western Visions. I'm Madison, for those of you that I don't know. I'm the chief marketing officer and also the show director for Western Vision this year. And Steph and Gabrielle are also working on Western Visions alongside me, so it's a big task. But we have an exciting volunteer opportunity that we wanted to share with you guys for Western Visions this year that's new. So we're going to be posting some artwork for seating shifts. So what this means is all of the 172 pieces come to the museum, right? And they have to be unpacked. So we do that as staff. And so you'll be partnered with a staff person. So anyone who's interested in doing this will get to be paired up with one staff person. You'll work in a team of 2 and you literally just examine the box, check for damage. There's a whole SOP that we'll go through. So anyone interested in this will get a separate training. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, this seems like a lot. What are we supposed to do? We'll train you and we'll be with you the whole time. So you inspect the box, open the box, inspect the artwork, make sure that it's the right piece, make sure that it's what they said they were sending, you would be surprised. And then work with your partner to put it in its appropriate storage location. Some of them go in artwork storage, some of them go in the Wapiti storage. And then we have those lovely new sculpture cabinets where the sculptures go. So a couple different places there. The really cool thing about this is you get to handle art, you get to see the Western Visions pieces before anyone else. But it is a physical job. So we're clear about that. You need to be able to stand for the entirety of the shift. They will be in 2 to 3 hour shifts. We'll do a 10 a.m. to a 12 p.m. and a 1 p.m. to a 4 p.m. on each day. These are Wednesdays during the receiving window. So these are the Wednesdays that we'll be doing it. You're welcome if you really want to do it to sign up for 2 on the same day. If you're like, I'm good, I'll take a lunch break, but don't feel like you have to. That's why we broke it up. We'll be doing it that way, but we don't expect you guys to do it that way. We don't know when the artwork will arrive. Sometimes we get 5 pieces in a day, sometimes we get 30. So we can't always guarantee that your full shift will be filled with unpacking. So we like to put that caveat in there. And then there'll be some times where we don't get through it all. It'll just be like we do what we can and then we save the rest for the next shift.
August 6th is cake day.
That's important.
Hence the break here.
That's why there's an hour for cake.
An hour for cake.
If Mike gets back in time.
If Mike gets back in time. Yes. So need to be able to stand for the duration of the shift and need to be able to lift 20 pounds and have shoulder mobility because we'll be lifting and hanging. We can go to the next slide. This is just sort of a quick run through of what it entails. And again, we have a much more specific training guide. Well, you did I say ask?
Yeah.
Assess.
Go back.
Assesses.
Assess.
That's the first one.
Assesses.
Photograph, measure.
Oh, that's it.
Oh.
I changed this
No,
one.
I did that earlier. I did allegories for allergies. It's just the day today.
How's an English major?
I wanted to
I'm
make sure you guys
sorry.
were reading, so you all get a gold star and a little chuckle.
I was a psychology major. Don't ask me to spell.
All right, perfect. That is the basic rundown of it. Any questions? What do we think? Like, are we excited about it? Is it something we're not interested in?
Lucretia wants to do
I
everything.
wanna do it.
I love it. Or what?
You crack me up.
Why? Why?
Nice to meet you. Well, come help.
Yeah.
This will go straight to the library.
Perfect. And then just a reminder, Western Visions is our largest and longest running fundraiser. We can't do it without all of your help. We know there's a lot of volunteer help that goes into this event overall. This is just a small piece of that. So, thank you.
All right. This is where it gets technical. Old Bill's fun run.
Me, right?
Heidi.
Hi.
Yeah,
do, do you recognize anybody in that photo?
Oh yeah. Hold on. 1 second. So sorry. There we go. No, who's this? Who's that?
It's amazing what you can find on the internet, right?
Can everyone hear her kind of?
Can you hear me?
It's not you. It's
Oh,
here.
Do you have it as loud as it goes?
I'm gonna have it as loud as it goes. It just doesn't, we don't have a speaker on our. Hello? Hi, am I trying to do something? Thank you. I do talk to technology. You'll have to excuse me. And if it's not too loud, just let me know. We just all have to be very quiet for Heidi. All right.
okay. Oh,
Go
are you
ahead.
ready? Hi, everybody. I'm Heidi, Director of Development. As you know, I started this winter, but I'm working remotely from Denver. I'll be in Jackson in July. I've met some of you, I think, and I still have yet to meet others. But I would be the person that you would come to for membership questions. I work with Palantir directly on sponsorships and fundraising and development. I work with Steph and Madison and the team on events and marketing. But I am directly responsible for the membership program and development things that related to fundraising. One thing that I am excited about getting involved in is Old Bill's Fun Run, which you see here. And I'm sure a lot of you know about this or have participated in the past. We are like officially a part of Old Bill's Fun Run, but we don't, how do I say this? We're not like officially like sponsoring. So if we want to be a part of it, you can walk or run on your own if you want to. But in years past, we've gotten a group together of volunteers and staff to walk together in the event. As you can see from this picture, Jane is there. I don't know who's behind you. I don't know who else is in there, but this is an example of some years past. I found this on their website. It's a huge community event. It's a run and a walk, and it's just a really great way for us to get exposure for the museum. It can be a really heavy lift, or it can be a nice light lift and just a fun little day that we're all involved in. So next slide. Thank you. Oh, thank you all for being here. This event is, you can actually go to the next one.
Oh my goodness.
It's a fun run. It's also a celebration of community, generosity.
I'm sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty.
That's okay. I'll just keep talking. It's run by the Community Foundation of Jackson Hole, which you maybe already know too. The date of it is on the next slide, I think. No, it's not. I should probably give you the date. It's September 6th. So it's the Saturday after Labor Day. It's like a 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday. And what we want to do is hopefully, if we get enough people interested, to get a group together. And Jane and Sage and I kind of threw around some ideas. As you can see from that first slide, we made signs that depicted one of our exhibits. We could do that this year. We could all wear matching t-shirts. We could have a booth and a table crew. We haven't signed up for that portion of it, but we could if we know we're going to have enough volunteers. And then just, I don't know, I'll be there to take pictures and do that kind of thing. But we just kind of want to see if we're going to have some interest from people to create a group to walk. And if not, we can all just walk together. But it might be a good idea to do something like this, and then it would be an art project for this summer. And maybe Wiley could help, or some other of our interns to think of something creative to help us stand out as we walk together on that day. Is there another slide? Maybe.
There it is.
Yes, there it is. Oh, okay. You don't have to tell me today, but that's my phone number and that's my email address if you're interested in helping with Old Bill's Fun Run. And I will then have some sort of planning meeting prior to it, because we have till September, so we have a little bit of time. And if you are interested, you can text me, call me, or send me an email. And the next slide is the same one, I think.
Also, if you don't have something to record this, I can give you this information.
Oh, okay.
And then this is the last slide.
That's it. I repeated myself. Oh, I wanted to go back to, do you see the sign that Jane's holding? So I can't remember, Jane, you do, but this was some sort of exhibit that we were having at the, let's see, wildlife photography something. And so we used those signs. We still have them down in storage, so we could reuse them if we wanted to do that, or if we wanted to do something else different and creative to highlight one of our exhibits, we could do that. We can't do the elephants because of course they'll be gone, but looking for any ideas and looking for input and help from volunteers.
As a reminder, our next exhibit is 2 of a kind after Western Visions.
That might be cool. Yes, that would be really cool. So that's it. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all in July and meeting you then.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, and that technically, with the staff introductions happened earlier, concludes our part of the meeting. Thank you, Heidi, for joining. And thank you to everyone who joined remotely. And now we get to the fun part, the food time. Oh, she is, but she's trying to leave. I get to.
I haven't pulled out the food yet, so the food will be out in 10 minutes. I'm gonna go bring it all out and warm it up.
And I will help.
And, yeah.